Hello and welcome to the Oakland Literacy Coalition Video Learning Library. We are so glad to have you with us. The Oakland Literacy Coalition, or the OLC, is a nonprofit organization committed to ensuring that every child in Oakland learns and loves to read. Since 2008, we have been driven by a deep belief that achieving this mission will take all of us. We know that with families, schools, literacy providers, policymakers, and community leaders working together, Oakland can continue to serve as a model for improving literacy outcomes throughout the Bay Area and across the country. Thank you for joining us as we further our mission by deepening our collective understanding of research-based reading instruction. The objectives of today's sessions are to define morphology, explain how morphology instruction can support both word recognition and comprehension, and identify and apply two research-based morphology practices that support reading success. If you have not already done so, please take a minute to download the companion document for this video, as we will pause throughout the session for you to reflect on your learning. Today we'll discuss what is morphology, how does morphological awareness support skilled reading, and how can educators provide effective morphology instruction? Let's jump right in. Morphology is all about morphemes, so let's start there. A morpheme is the smallest unit of language that holds meaning, just like how phonemes are the smallest units of speech. I think of these as like the puzzle pieces that come together to make a word mean something. For example, in the word morphology, we see the ending or suffix logy, which is a morpheme that means the study of something. It comes from Greek. We see this morpheme in lots of other words too, like biology, which starts with the phoneme bio, meaning life. So biology is the study of life. Zoology, which is the study of animals. And geology, which is the study of earth. Morphology helps us understand the pieces of the puzzle of language and how they come together to make meaning. But here's the mind-blowing thing about English. It is a morphophonemic code, which is a very complex word that means that our written system represents morphemes, so parts that hold meaning, as well as phonemes, which are the speech sounds. For example, in this word, R and E represent the phonemes R, E in the word ed. But in this word, RE represents the morpheme re, which means again. Specifically, to do again in the word redo. This can be tricky for early readers to grasp. We need to empower our students with morphological knowledge on top of their very strong phonics knowledge base to help them read, spell, and understand words. Studying morphology is particularly helpful for that last part, understanding the meaning of words. Let's look at this word, distrustful. Imagine it's the first time you're ever encountering this word. The first thing we see is dis, which is a prefix in this word. I've seen that prefix in words like disagree, disappear, disobey, so I know it means not, or whatever the opposite of the word that comes after it. The next part of the word is trust, which is the base word. The base word is a morpheme that can stand on its own. Some morphemes are whole words. Then I see this special ending, the suffix, full, which I know from a lot of words like grateful, beautiful, peaceful. So it's describing literally being full or characterized by that thing. Like my mom is full of beauty. She is beautiful. So this word must mean that something is full of not trust, like doubt or skepticism. Knowing the three puzzle pieces or morphemes of this word could help me understand its meaning even if I had never seen it before. Morphological knowledge is a very powerful tool because it supports both sides of Scarborough's reading rope, unlocking a world of words for readers. A strong understanding of morphemes supports word recognition because I have additional tools to help me decode a word. For example, I know I can try or the morpheme re. I'll also gain some automaticity of word chunks through knowledge of prefixes and suffixes. But morphological awareness also supports language comprehension by providing insight into the meaning of new vocabulary words and their structure, how to use them. All these skills are especially critical for tackling multisyllabic words, which is often an area of significant struggle as readers get older and into more complex texts. For example, a student with strong morphological awareness could easily read this sentence: Mom did not mention that school started tomorrow. They would not get stuck on the word mention and say, and on mention. No, they would immediately recognize the stable final syllable and morpheme tion, shun. So even if I were a struggling third grade reader, if I had that little piece of morphological knowledge and I saw that suffix tion, all I would need to do is tackle this closed syllable at the beginning. Men, shun. Same thing with the 3-syllable word in this sentence. Awareness of the morphemes less and ness just leaves the VCE word home to be decoded. Morphological awareness becomes a stronger predictor of reading success than phonemic awareness after second grade, making this type of instruction vital for our upper elementary students. Research tells us that morphology instruction supports decoding, spelling, vocabulary, comprehension, and syntax skills. This can help struggling readers and advanced readers. It is beneficial for all students across a range of literacy proficiency. Let's reflect. In what ways does morphology live or not live in your current work with students? In what ways do you think understandings of morphology support you in your own life as an adult reader and user of language? Now, what does effective morphology instruction look like? One of the best things we can do to support students is introduce developmentally appropriate morphological understandings as early as possible. Morphology can sound and seem really complex, and it definitely can be. You can go down a deep rabbit hole exploring the Latin, Greek, and Germanic origins of specific English words and investigate the histories of how empires and social hierarchies shaped language, which is all fascinating stuff. But it does not have to be that deep, especially not for our little ones. In late kindergarten and early first grade, we can start building morphological awareness by exploring the concept that parts of words have meaning. We can do that by looking at compound words. For example, the first part of this word is bed. The second part of this word is room. Both parts mean something. Bed, room. Together, it means a room where your bed is. Toothbrush. Both of those parts hold meaning. They come together to make a new meaning, a brush for your teeth. One of my favorite first grade morphology lessons that I did not know was a morphology lesson until a few years ago is teaching the suffix s. I get to tell my class about one of the best days ever when I held one dog, and then I got to hold 2 dogs. I tell them that that little s holds a lot of meaning. It means more than one. If I didn't have that S, people might think that I just held one puppy, and they wouldn't realize that I had an extra special spectacular day with 2 dogs. The suffix ing, meaning something is happening right now, and ed, that something was done or happened in the past, are also introduced in first grade. These suffixes start to appear frequently in first grade texts, and kids are always so excited to learn about them and be able to tackle longer words. This is 6 and 7-year-old morphology. One silly game that I play with my first graders to reinforce suffixes is, okay, but what if? I start with a simple sentence like, Neilani fed one cat, and ask a student to read it. Then I say something like, okay, but what if it was 200 and not just one? Then another student comes up and corrects the sentence. Neilani fed 200 cats. This game works with other suffixes too, like I could start with, Miguel picks up 100 elephants. Okay, but what if he was doing it right now, here in our classroom, on the carpet? Miguel is picking up 100 elephants. While students in kindergarten may not necessarily be able to read those sentences or write to correct them, you can also play this game orally. Morphology offers another opportunity for our little ones to explore and play with language. We can model excitement and curiosity about words, which can support them when the learning becomes more advanced and difficult. As Dr. Deb Glazer, the creator of a program called Morpheme Magic, states, morphology is indeed magical. Words magically appear in our lives, and each word has its story, its hidden meaning for us to uncover and discover. As students progress, it's important to explicitly teach the most frequent prefixes, suffixes, and root words to set them up for success. Morphological instruction exists as part of some comprehensive foundational skills programs, but there are very few standalone programs and also still a long way to go to get this well-researched element of instruction into practice and curricula at the elementary level. It would be impossible to teach all morphemes in English, and research has not yet shown that there is one most effective scope and sequence in which to teach morphemes. But most reading experts suggest teaching the most frequent, high utility morphemes. The authors of Shifting the Balance have offered one free scope and sequence reflecting that philosophy, which can be downloaded on their website. There's a lot of good news when it comes to high impact morphology instruction. The 20 most common prefixes make up 97% of all prefixed words. So if we even just taught 5 prefixes a year in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, students would start middle school with all the most common word beginnings under their belts. Un and re are the most common, and most 2nd graders and even many 1st graders are totally ready to tackle these prefixes. Think about that prefix, un. Take a second to pause and set a timer for just 1 minute. Write down all the words with un that you can think of. These are just a handful of the hundreds of words in English that begin with the prefix un. These 2 little letters unlock so many words for kids. Another piece of great news is that those simple suffixes that kids learn in 1st grade account for the vast majority of words with suffixes in English. They are fundamental to the structure and grammar of our language and appear in nearly all sentences. That 1st grade morphology really pays off. Many English words come from Latin origins, which can help us understand what words mean and how they are related. For example, the Latin root struct means to build and can help us understand words like structure, construction, deconstruct, and many more. A smaller portion of words have Greek origins, but these are particularly helpful for scientific terms, like all those logi words we went over earlier, as well as words with the Greek root micro, meaning small, like microorganism, microscope. Several reading experts suggest teaching common roots beginning in third grade, although often fruitful teaching opportunities present themselves before that. Explicitly teaching roots can be especially helpful for English language learners because there are often cognates, words that have similar meaning, spelling, and pronunciation in two languages. This helps forge connections and understanding. For Spanish speaking students, Latin roots are particularly helpful. For example, both the English word family and the Spanish word familia come from the root word familia in Latin. In English, imagine, in Spanish, imaginar, come from the Latin root word imaginare. In English, discuss, in Spanish, discutir, come from the Latin root word discutere. You can check out a list of Spanish and English cognates on the wonderful website Colorín Colorado, which has many resources for supporting English language learners. Another great resource is Big Words for Young Readers, teaching kids in K-5 to decode and understand words with multiple syllables and morphemes, which was written by Dr. Heidi Messmer as part of Scholastic's Science of Reading and Practice series. She includes a proposed scope and sequence for morphology, many morphological games and activities, as well as clear and simple explanations of word origins and rules that can help us teach and learn and certainly support our students. Let's reflect. How might you start to build morphological awareness with students in your current work? What might be a first step? To summarize, English is a morphophonemic code and demands knowledge of both morphology and phonics for successful reading and spelling. Morphological awareness becomes a critical predictor of reading success after grade 2. We can provide developmentally appropriate exposure to morphology as early as kindergarten and first grade. Educators should explicitly teach the most frequent prefixes, suffixes, and root words to help kids unlock a world of words. Thank you so much for joining the OLC to deepen our collective learning today. We're grateful for your commitment to supporting every reader's right to learn and love to read. Please take a moment to fill out the short feedback survey linked at the bottom of your companion document or by scanning the QR code here. We're eager to hear from you and provide any further support you may need. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us at team@oaklandliteracycoalition.org with any questions or concerns. Please stay in touch with the OLC through our website and by following our LinkedIn and Instagram pages to learn about our exciting events and updates. Thank you so much again for joining us, and we look forward to connecting again soon.